Good evening again, everybody. Welcome back to the round of 8 here at the Savage Arms Singles, hosted by Bowlero Chicopee. We have a little bit of a lineup change. I am now joined by Jeremy Hartberger. Jeremy.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
We're not bowling, but we're doing okay.
Understandable. So we got the players finishing up practice here. Round of 8. Again, bowlers are going to get 2 shots per lane. Looks like everybody is just finishing up. Looking at our bracket here on, let's go from left to right. So 29 and 30, we have Chris Forey taking on Chris Monroy. On 33 and 4, right here in front of us, we have Bill Webb taking on Thomas Coco. 31 and 2, Brandon Vallone bowling Greg Green. And then to our far right, which you should be able to see on the right-hand side of the screen there, we have Warren Guernsey taking on Colby Hagemoser. Again, we're in the round of 8 match play here at the Savage Arms Singles. So again, want to thank everybody for joining us on the live stream again. And again, to our sponsor, Savage Arms, Al Casper, and adding $500 to the prize fund. Again, this is NEBA event number 995, Jeremy.
That's a lot.
I know. Yeah, 5 away from number 1,000.
It's absolutely impressive.
That's going to be coming up in August, which I believe is going to be the weekend of the 19th and 20th at Callahan's Bowlerama. So make sure to keep an eye out for that, because that's going to be a great weekend. And while we're early on in the matches here, again, just want to thank all of our sponsors. Tony and Susan Renaud adding $1,000 to the Masters event. Ace Mitchell Bowling, Vinny Grazan adding $500 to the general prize fund, plus the golf outing sponsor. Better Bowling Concepts, William Daly adding $500 to the general prize fund. Storm Bowling International for donating 2 balls per tournament, Leon Holzenberg. Again, that's going to be 44 balls in total, which is nuts. The first out of the cut today was Mike Rock Jr., so he has actually won one of the bowling balls. We are still waiting for the raffle. Buddy's Pro Shop, Chris Forey, adding $12,500. Again, can't say enough about Forey and what he does for the sport of bowling. Chris Viali, Cambridge Credit Counseling, adding $3,500 to the Invitational. Keegan Kenny, Logo Infusion, they are the champion shirt sponsor, so thank you for that. Strike Effects Pro Shops, John Van Hees adding $500 to the general prize fund. Chris Sand at Turbo Grips, again, $500 to the general prize fund. Bruce Hall, TechVision, this is where we get the live stream, again, adding $1,000 to the number 1,000 event. So again, thank you, Bruce and TechVision, for your sponsorship, and hope you did well in Allentown today. Jeff Barden, Yankee Lanes, Keene, $2,000 to the prize funds. Rich Reynolds, Bullwinkle's Pro Shop, adding $500 to the general prize fund. Again, our main sponsor here, Al Casper and Savage Arms, adding $500 to the general prize fund. Callahan's Bowlerama, just talked about them. They're hosting the number 1,000 tournament, adding $5,500 to the general prize fund, and which is going to be $2,500 overall for the general prize fund, and another $2,500 for the 1,000th event. John Zawalik, DJ's Pro Shop, adding $500 to the general prize fund. Many Styles of Bowling, Lou Moreau, again, $500 to the general prize fund. Roger Burrell, Bloomfield Electric, adding $2,500 to the Masters event. GMS Concrete, Clay Schwartz, adding $2,500. That's $1,500 to the regular doubles and $1,000 to the over-under. Paul Sylvia, Dexter, adding $500 to the general prize fund. Tony Mendolia, KR Strikeforce, adding $1,000 to the general prize fund. Grog Monster Sports, Greg Flamond, adding $500 to the general prize fund. East Coast Sports Investors, Jeff Dawson, adding $500 to the general prize fund. Yankee Lanes again, Manchester, Jeff Barden, adding $5,000, which is $1,500 for the senior event, an additional $2,000 to the singles for the women. Keith Lang, Ideal Bowling Concepts, $500 to the general prize fund. DJBT, Jeff Purchase, $500 to the general fund, and $250 to the youth event. UseBowlingBalls.com, Mitchell Pincus adding $500 to the general prize fund, and of course Island Bowling Supply, which is going to be the sponsor of the ball raffle again here for the final match. So again, in order to get entered into that raffle, all you need to do is like and share the stream for the final match. You'll be entered into a raffle, and 2 winners will be picked at random, but again, you have to remember to like and share the live stream.
You need some water after all of those sponsors.
You're not kidding. And
it gets longer every year, which is it's a very good thing. But I'm thinking pretty soon, maybe another couple of years, you're going to go through a whole match, and you're still going to be going through the sponsors. Like, oh, the game's over.
I was going to say, by the time the title match is over, we would have read all the sponsors. And I mentioned a couple of our sponsors here, but we do have some upcoming events. June 17th, we have the GMS Concrete over under 50 doubles, and June 18th, same weekend, is the Grog Monsters doubles. Those are both going to be held in Cranston, Rhode Island. So just a few weeks away from those tournaments. Looking forward to that. Just, again, looking at our matches here, we should be able to see most of them on the live stream. Over here on 29 and 30, we do have Chris Monroy. He's taking on Chris Forey. Forey is, let's see, he's on 29. He started with an open strike. Monroy is strike, looking for a spare. 31 and 2. What do we have here in front of us, Jeremy? I got a pole in my way.
Green and Brandon, was it Valone?
Valone, yes.
Who was on fire, by the way. He went 268 against me. Then he went 289 the following game.
And he's currently on a three-bagger.
Got a three-bagger.
His opponent, and now his opponent, Greg Green, just got his first mark. So a little bit off to a slow start, looking to bounce back, try to get back in that match. Right here in front of us, nothing but strikes. You got Bill Webb taking on Thomas Coco, both on three-baggers. And then down all the way to the right on 37 and 8, we have Warren Guernsey, who again knocked out the #1 seed in Ian Lang. And Warren is bowling Colby Hagemesser.
That's right.
And Warren is currently on a double, looking for a three-bagger. Colby, unfortunately, has gone open, spare, open. So, I know, Jeremy, you, I know you participated in the tournament. How'd you see the lanes?
Well, this morning I played it wrong. Had a chance to at least get to the at-large, but then threw probably 5 splits in a row. Second squad was able to move in, went to a actually shiny ball, and pretty much played the puddle in the middle, just sat there, so that's how I got in. First match in match play, I shot 190 something against Brandon, but he had me beat in the 5th frame. But I threw the ball really well. Just
that's something you don't see every day.
Very unlikely miss there for him. Yeah, I mean So I will say the lefties had a really good look, but like I said, my match against Brandon, I mean, unfortunately, when he shoots 268, I mean, hats off to him. But I mean, I made a big move because obviously I didn't bowl well in the fresh this morning, and I had a good read, or good look, I should say. Just bowled the wrong guy.
And that's a lot of times that's what happens in match play. You just get matched up against the wrong guy in the wrong pair, and now you're sitting here with me. Yeah,
well, that's all right, though. I mean, I'm sure the people listening are probably like, I don't want to listen to this guy, but.
Bring back Amanda. No, just kidding. Happy to have you. So,
whatever.
Yeah, Brandon is he's bowling unbelievable. I've been watching him for pretty much most of the day, and he's been throwing this double cross here primarily, and he's got what he sees. He likes what he sees. He's confident, and as I say that, he leaves a 6-8, but.
He's still in the lead.
Commentator's curse, but he still has a pretty big lead. Yeah.
He said it, every ball he threw against me was just flush. Then he left the 10 pin in the 10th frame, and I was like, oh, really? Like, if you left 6 more of those, I had a chance.
Yeah, and actually, I was mentioning this in the last stream. Before he came over to me in the middle of his match, and he looked at me and said, these are a lot more snug than I remember on Saturday night.
I bowled. They had that qualifier for the I-91 tournament.
Yes.
Shout out to those guys as well. And I bowled it Friday night, and I was 129 for 4, or plus 129 for 4. It definitely played different. And I think the worst part is I had the mindset of how it was on Friday going into this morning, and by the time I realized, time to make a change. It was a little late. But.
Well, I think what you see happen is as you start taking the you start stripping the pair, you re-oil, and you do that, you start to see that lane memory. It starts to get a little bit flatter. It gets a little bit harder. Your misses become bigger.
Everything's tighter.
Everything's tighter. And I think that's what we saw kind of this at the beginning of this match play, because there were some really good scores, and then I saw a few 150s.
Yes, yep.
Things I didn't really see throughout the day. So it's definitely something where it is scoreable. Again, we're bowling on it's the 2023 Savage Arms Open special pattern for this tournament. 44 feet in length, about a 5-to-1 ratio with 31.7 milliliters.
Yep.
So, you know, there's quite a bit of oil out there.
Yeah.
Like you said, you were playing the puddle in the middle of the lane.
Yeah, especially second squad. It was so it was move left, and I don't get the ball any further than 4 inches past the head pin to the right, and just let it sit.
I actually saw a lot of the right-handers doing that. It looks like the lefties could play a little further out.
Yep.
I did see some righties trying to play him pretty straight from out. Before he was throwing urethane.
Yes.
But it did seem like closed angles were better than trying to open up the lane.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Although Guernsey, watching him bowl, he's going around a little bit, but he is he's using his wrist a lot. He's really trying to roll it, and he's really trying to hit it.
Yeah.
And he's probably the only one that's really going from left to right now, but it's still fairly straight. As
getting shots
rolls
like
the
that.
4-9.
Yep. I don't know. I had a couple of breaks myself, and to me, it's like without those breaks, I wouldn't have even gotten to the at-large to even make it in the match play. So I'll take it.
Absolutely. And this would be what your home center, would you say?
It is. It is.
This is where we bowl league. This is a building that we're pretty comfortable in. One thing I did have a few of the bowlers talk about were the approaches. Did you have any issues with the approaches today?
I'm so used to it now. So no, when Bowlero first did the what do you call it, the resurfacing of the approaches, or what do you want to call it?
Nightmare.
It was really bad. Like it happened last NEBA actually here last year, and I actually bowled in sneakers, which I've never done before, and I felt bad doing it at first because I didn't want people getting mad. I'm like, am I allowed to do this? I don't know, but I mean, they're to me they're much better than what they have been. Rumor has it they will be getting resurfaced again in July, so we'll see what happens then. But
so what you're saying is the start of league should be fun.
Yeah, let's just say I have the least stick you can possibly have for a slide, and I've got on my left foot where my heel is, that the grip one that you have on your right foot for normally your plant foot. That's what I'm actually sliding with, which it seems to work.
So you're really not trying to slide. You're more or less just trying to keep your feet from going out.
And I don't slide much anyway. I'm more of a plant, and I actually think sometimes that can actually make it more difficult, because a lot of guys are like, how does it bother you because you don't slide?
Because you're used to not sliding.
Yes. So even if you get just even like a half an inch or 1 inch more of that little bit of the slickness, next thing you know, it's a nightmare. But
Amanda was also mentioning, and I'm sure you can speak to this as well. She talked about how this building in particular, pair to pair is tricky.
It is, and I typically don't bowl NEBA very well here usually, and it was funny. I was talking to Mike Rock and Dennis Bissonette about it, and in league, like you kind of know the lay of the land. If this pair is playing 5 tighter,
stay away from 5 and 6. Stay away from 11 and 12. Yeah. No,
well, but I sometimes I find that, to me, and like I said, I'm usually half backwards compared to everybody else anyway. Sometimes I think that can be a disadvantage, because the next I have in my head, all right, these are going to play tighter, and which usually it does, but if you're not bowling on the house shot, if you're bowling, especially like on a sports shot, sometimes you're better off almost not knowing, and it's like, let me just throw a couple of shots, see what we're doing. But yeah, they play way different. I mean just league alone. I bowled down on the far end of Savage Arms, and then on here on Monday on the upper, and I think I was at like 231 or 232 on Monday nights, and Friday nights I think I got to like 226, and I shot like 740 the last 4 weeks to get to it. But it is what it is. It seems like most houses you bowl in now, it's don't get a whole lot that are consistent from pair to pair. So.
And then let's just take a look here at this these matches. So we got Forey bowling Monroy down here, which is a clash of two phenomenal bowlers in this organization.
And two guys that can make the shots when they need them.
Absolutely. Would not be surprised if that match is close coming down to the 10th. Might see some fireworks out of those guys.
Yep.
Before he started with 8 out, now he's on a 4-bagger. Monroy has started strike, spare, double, so very close match there. Valone here bowling in front of us with Green. Valone pretty much has that match in hand right now.
Yeah, he's up by quite a bit.
Webb here is able to cut the deficit from Coco down by 10, assuming that he strikes, because Webb looks like he has 247 out, and Coco has 248. So we're at a 1-pin match here right in front of us. And then down on 37 and 8. Unfortunately, it looks like Guernsey is on 2 opens in a row. Colby did throw a 3-bagger there in the middle of the match, so Colby has an advantage going into the latter half of that match.
Great shot by Webb. I feel like I say that every time he throws the ball, but.
So, Jeremy, being that we are in the round of 8, this is historically when we start making picks. So I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I did pick the last time I was on the stream. I did pick the winner, but I'm going to let you go first because I already know who I have in mind. And I think we might have the same person.
Probably. So that being said, I'm going to pick Forey.
As I said, I think we had the same person.
Is that who you picked?
I was gonna
Actually, to be honest, this one's tough because you've got Bill Webb, who, in my opinion, is one of the best bowlers on the planet. And Brandon is just throwing the ball so good. I mean, he's good to begin with, obviously. And all right, so I'm going to pick Brandon.
Okay, I'll take Forey.
Obviously, I love Forey to death.
Which, if you look at the bracket, they can bowl each other in the final.
That would be good.
So, all right, we're going to lock these in. You're going to take Brandon Valone.
We will. And
your sentimental pick can be Forey.
Well, to be honest with you, it's tough because this guy standing to the right of me right now, Webb, is, like I said, when it comes to pressure, when it comes to making the shot, that's the guy I want bowling.
All right, so you're going to take Valone. I'll take Forey again.
But if he keeps carrying that, then yes, I pick him.
Could be a potential where we see them in the final against each other. And it actually looks like Monroy did leave a flat 10 there in the 6, paired it up. Forey is on a 5-bagger. To our right here, Colby running it out.
Yeah, he's found it.
There you go.
Monroy
solves the rack. So,
and Monroy's another one too.
You can never count him out.
He's, and I always, Chris is obviously so good, but I always find him sneaky good.
Unassuming.
Yeah, it's just.
You never know until you bowl him, and then you're like, this guy's got an 8-bagger, and I can't double.
And he's like I said, he's got ice in the veins. Last match, I think he needed a double to get through, and he flushed both of them.
He did. He needed the first one to beat Soul, and he absolutely labeled it.
Yep.
He's also an attorney, so you got to have ice in your veins. All right, so Coco here actually just gave an opportunity for
Webb can,
ball in hand.
Webb can step up and win it right here.
I have a feeling that if Forey gets these next two, you might hear him over the microphone.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, he. There's one. Yep,
that's one.
You might have heard that one.
wasn't too loud.
No. I said this one. This is the one where you might hear it a little bit.
Yeah. Janine, if you're watching, hi. Jen, if you and the boys are watching, hi too. I better say that real quick.
The other thing, I do see some comments coming through on the live stream. I do know that some of the audio may be cutting out. I do know that the live stream has frozen a few times. I promise we're not trying to be Bowl TV. There's just some things that, we can't control. For all of you that have a Bowl TV subscription, you know what I'm talking about.
It's because I keep swearing. They keep bleeping it out.
Janine Forey says hi.
Hi, Janine.
But again, we are doing our best here. Sometimes technology does get the better of us, but we're going to hope the stream continues to flourish here and we can bring you these bowlers here in the round of 8.
Yeah, this is going to be a close one here between Bill and Coco.
All right, so yeah, looks like Bill is got 225 in the wood. Coco would need 8 spare strike to win by 1. Mathematically, the Valone match is over.
Yeah. Yep.
And
And Hogemeiser looks like that's looks like a done deal as well.
yep. Jeremy miraculously added an L to Hagemoser's last name.
How do you say it?
Hagemoser.
Hagem. What am I calling him?
Hagelmoser.
Well, and I feel bad because my last name's horrendous. I mean, Forey calls me Hart Farger. There's the shot by
There it
Forey
is.
right there.
Well, it helps. I grew up bowling with his brother in JBTs. I've known Randy for years. So I had to know how to say his name.
Another good bowler.
Yeah. So shout out to Randy if you're watching.
That's a pretty big shot here by Webb. He's got to pretty much
Yeah, he's got to put the pressure on.
put the pressure here.
So he's throwing a Nova.
That's a good shot right there. Yeah, I noticed with Webb too. Webb, some of the bowling balls, like his choices that he throws. I mean, it's crazy because it's like I'm like, oh, Bill, I hate that ball, and then he'll average 290 with it.
It's a big number. All right, so it looks like we're gonna pencil in Hagemoser in that match. Unfortunately, Guernsey just threw another 5 count. He's only got 165. So again, Colby is gonna have to step up and get some count, assuming that Warren makes the spare and fills the 10th.
I got to be honest though, his spare, I must have left that 5 times today. Everybody left that spare today.
Well, it looked like it was easy that if you got the ball going left or right, it would sail.
Yep.
Oh, he does make it, so he's
Good
gonna.
spare.
And Monroy trips the 4. He's letting Forey know he's still there. All right, so let's take a look down there. What do we got, Jeremy? He's got 165 with a strike. Colby has 148, 158. So Colby's gonna need just a few pins and count.
Yep. Let's keep it on the lane. So I don't see. He doesn't. It's Guernsey, right?
Warren Guernsey.
Warren Guernsey. I've only seen him bowl a few times, but man, he's impressive.
Yeah, I believe he's
He's
out of
been
the
around.
Albany area.
Yeah, and he's been around. I mean, he's been bowling for a long time, obviously, from what I've been told. But he, good shot.
All right, he's
Webb.
gonna make a mark. And it's got to be good count too. And Colby did strike in the 10th, so that match is officially over.
I'm just gonna call him Colby for now, so I don't mess up his last name.
I wish you could say the kid drew this.
Yeah, that pin is
I did.
nightmare fuel.
I drew that.
That's wonderful. Did that pin come back? Is that what happened?
That
Is there a story behind this pin?
Yeah, so that pin was we were this morning we were behind Viale. So Viale was the pair ahead of us, so we were waiting for them to finish. That pin was all the way up by the ball return, so I decided to draw a picture on it and so it's like Wilson, but it's the bowling pin.
All right,
Let's
so
see what
here's
Chris
Forey.
has. Oh, got away
Breaks
with
up
it.
the split.
Making it interesting over there.
All right, so Thomas is going to need 8 spare strike to win by 1. First one in the 10th here is huge. Looks like he likes it.
Yeah, that was a great
Yeah,
shot.
that's-
Great shot.
So he's only going to need 8 pins on 2 balls. No commentators curse, but I think I'm going to pencil him in for that.
I think you're good.
So really the match that we're going to really need to focus on here is the Forey match, which unfortunately is the one that's the furthest off the camera.
Yeah, I can't even see. If he spares, is it over? I can't even tell.
No, Monroy still has 248. Chris has 258. 257, I'm sorry. So he's going to need the first 2.
Oh, okay, he's going. Sorry. Oh, there we go.
He's going to need the first
Somebody
2
put
to
this
lock
pillar
out
in the
that
way.
match. And I think after these matches are over, Jeremy, you're going to have to hold that pin up in front of the camera.
Okay.
Because
Dude,
it is nightmare fuel.
Listen, it's looks like a Picasso to me, or Picacho, or whatever they are. My kids were here earlier when I was getting the snot beat out of me by Brandon in match play, and I showed him the pin, and my youngest son Caden's like, "Well, who drew that?" And I'm like, "I did." And he's like, "Well, that's hideous." Like, okay, thanks.
Love you too, buddy.
Yep.
All right, so, yep, Thomas did double. Looking at a different ball here. Looks like he went to a top speed. He's throwing a mindset.
There's a lot of those going down the lane today. The mindset, I believe.
And again, I do see the comments. Unfortunately, you know, we are limited with the technology. We do have a hard wire into this, so there shouldn't be any connectivity issues. But unfortunately, you know, we're fighting the good fight. And I know at least you're not paying for a subscription for this. Doing our best.
Click the subscribe.
All right, so Forey stepping up here in the 10th. It actually looks like he's in an IQ Tour on the left lane. I didn't realize that before.
Yeah, and he looked like he was some of the purple on the right. Oh, you know what? That's the, I think that might be a good shot. I think that's the Obsession Tour.
Okay.
I believe that's what he's throwing. Which I heard is a really, really good ball.
You don't say. All right, so he gets the first one, which means he's going to need the next one in 2.
Yeah, that's a big shot here for Chris. It's like I said, Monroy can easily get up and throw 3 in a row. He's
Thank you, Chris Page. I'm sorry, I cut you off, Jeremy. What were you saying?
I don't remember. My old age is kicking in. I'm sorry. No, I was just saying Monroy can, like I said, easily step up, throw a double, throw 3. He's
He proved it in the last match.
Oh, it's all the time too. It's unreal.
But we'll both get quiet here, and if I'm pretty sure if Chris gets this one, you guys might hear it on the live stream.
Let's see what happens. Oh, big shot there. Good shot.
I guarantee you heard that one on the live stream. They heard that one all the way back in Fairfield.
If you didn't hear that, he said, woohoo.
All right, so round of 4 is going to be coming up here next. We are going to have, let's take a look here. We're going to have Forey is going to be taking on Valone, so forget what I said earlier.
Oh, man.
They're going to be bowling each other. And Coco is going to be taking on Hagemoser. So the live stream is going to be right here in front of us again. 31 and 2, 33 and 4 are going to be the semifinals. For the finals, we'll be moving the camera down to 35 and 6. That's going to be our final match. But again, our 4 finalists, Colby Hagemoser, Thomas Coco, Chris Forey, and Brandon Valone. We will be back here in just a few minutes. Thank you, everyone.